Hello everyone, welcome back on Next Mango channel. Guys, I'm R.K Singh, Unity game developer, YouTuber and blogger. The 5th episode of SFS server, in which we have learned how to make the connection, how we can request and how we can get the response from the server and how we can pass the data. Hope you all understand how we can perform this task, but got one question from Discord that how we can manage if we get the minimize our application or if we get disconnected from the internet or server, and if we want to load the data when we are playing the game inside the room. So how we are going to perform today video is going to very important, because this is the you can take and you can utilize in your application, because this is a very typical and most of developers face problem if they have not done any such kind of application. So let's start the today video. If you are new on the channel, make also check out my blogging channel MR.RK Vlog and tech channel Tech Pro Based. So here I have created, let's suppose this is your game, and in game there is a login screen, lobby, and from the lobby, if you are making any Ludo kind of application or any other like FPS tech kind of application, so from the lobby I want to say that you can just go in any scene. If we are going to learn that, let's suppose you are in the login screen and you just put your phone, and at that you come back and then you want to do the login, so how it will perform. Let's suppose you are in the lobby scene or lobby area, and at that time you just got disconnected from the server, so how your application will behave. Same as well as, let's suppose this is the roulette application and you are in the single roulette, this is the double, this is the triple. So let's suppose in single roulette you are just playing the game, and you got disconnected from the internet, or you just put your phone, or you just minimize your application. So at that time how your application will be response. So that thing we are going to discuss in this tutorial. I hope you understand what I am going to discuss in this tutorial. This is the very simple that let's suppose I am giving you one more example. Let's suppose you just log in, and from the lobby you join a Ludo game. So in Ludo game you are playing, and your two coin is out, and you are just playing, and you just automatically got disconnected from your game. So after some time you got back, your internet got back. So how your application will be response, that if maybe your game have been completed, or maybe you just got connected after a few seconds, so you can play your game. So that thing I'm going to discuss. It's good in English, but yeah, I'm trying to improve. Okay, so I got this question on the Discord server, so you can also join the Discord server. You can ask their question, you can reply the questions, so that will be improve your knowledge. Okay, so let's suppose you log in. So on this screen, if you on the login screen or even on the lobby screen, so if you got the minimize or disconnected, basically both terms minimize and disconnected are similar. If you are making your application minimize and you are coming before the 7 second or 10 second, so your application is not getting disconnected, because most of server not getting disconnected in 7 seconds, so that's work fine. But you minimize the application and you are coming back after 1 minute or after 15 seconds, so at that time you got disconnected from the server, or might be you disconnected from the internet. So if you want to connect, if you want to check with this server, so basically you can check that SFS is connected or not. So you can check this way, or otherwise you can just do the ping pong request. What is the ping pong request? That you perform the request in every 5 seconds. So you can check the connection with the server. And another, if you want to check internet, so there is a connection dot available internet reachability. That is one method, but sometimes it doesn't work. So what you can do is that you can perform the request on a particular website like google.com or any website, and if you are getting the response in after a few seconds, so it means you are connected. Otherwise you are not connected, you can show the any panel that you are not connected with the internet, or you are not connected with the servers. So this kind of panel you can show in your application. So what thing you have to perform? So in the login, in the lobby, if you are getting disconnected, I am using the words for to, if it is minimized or if it is disconnected from the internet. So I am using the single word, that is the disconnected. So if you are disconnected from the login or lobby room, so what you can simply do is that you can simply perform the login manually, means you have to enter the ID password. So that's the simple thing, we have to not worry that much about. But if you are in the scene one, that is you have joined one room, you are playing the ludo, or you are playing the single chance roulette or double chance roulette, or any uh, game you are playing, and at that time you are getting disconnected. So what are the steps you have to follow at that time? So at that time you have to follow, because this is a very crucial, you have to understand that at that time what happens, you got disconnected. So there might be a mini scenario. Mini scenario means, let's suppose you are playing the ludo and you got disconnected, and you getting connected after 5 minutes, and at that time your game is already completed. So at that time what should be, at that time you have to take decision that you want to, means game have been already completed. So at that time you can just create one room, or play if there is any other player have joined the same room, if it is possible, that if you created one room. But if you are playing the ludo game, so it is not possible. So what you have to do is, that time if that room, yeah, that game is already completed, so at that time you have to come back on the lobby, and then you have to create, or you have to join the room from lobby. Let's suppose you are playing the roulette game. So at that time what happens, that you are the single player, you playing at that time. So at that time if you are getting disconnected, so what you have to do, you have to do is that you have to check that where you are entire the game, where you are entire the game, means you are in the lobby or you are in the scene. So what if you are getting disconnected, so first you have to create the connection. So if you get the connection, so at that time you have to check that which scene is active, if it is scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, because might be these three are different games. So in the ludo case, I told you, I am sharing another game application, that let's suppose your game is not getting completed, you are inside the room, or your game is still running, might be it is the ludo or it is some other games. So at that time what will happen, at that time you will create the connection, and after the connecting you will perform the login. First you will check where you are. If you are in the login or lobby area, then you will perform the login, and login, simple login. But if you are in the scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, so at that time you will create the connection, and then you will check where you are. So if you are in the scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, or any game you are playing, so at that time you will check, and after the check you have to perform to store your ID password, and at that time in the background you will perform the login. After the login, what you will do, you will perform the join request on that particular room. So in join you will get all the data related to your game. Let's suppose you are playing the scene 1 game and you got disconnected, so at that time I will create the connection, I will do the login, and I know that I am in the scene 1, so at that time I will use the my event, whatever event I am using, and do the request for the joining the particular room. And if in that room is playing, if it is not uh, if that game is not completed, it is still running, so at that time you will get the all the data related to that room, and you will use that data according to your requirement. So at that time you will get the data, and then you will be able to play the game normally as you were playing. So what we are doing, we are creating the connection, login, and then we are checking that where we are. If we are in the lobby and login, so we are performing the normal login. But if you are in any scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, so we are checking that if room is exist, and if room is exist means this game are still playing. So at that time what you are doing is that you have to join with the join event, and you will get all the data related to that room. Okay, and if it is not the case, like if your game is already completed, so at that time you have to come back on the lobby, and then from there you can join any other room. Okay, so this is the simple way. This works for all the game, whenever game is going in the background or getting disconnected. Okay, so here we are calling check connection, and on the basis of check connection, here you can see this is the callback. So we are getting the callback from here. Okay, so whenever we are getting the callback here, connect, we are checking the connection, and on the check connection we are getting the response. This is the callback basically. So we are getting the callback from here, and here you can see that if we are getting the internet, so here we are using the callback. So on that callback we are calling the reconnect. So in reconnect we are performing all the concept I share with you here. Okay, so what I am going to do is that here you can see reconnecting, please wait. So at that time I'm checking SFS equal to null, means if it is null, so at that time I am connecting to the internet. And in else part you can see that if it is connected, so I am sending the login request. So here you can see on the connection, so we are checking on the connection, we are checking that if it is connection is successful or if it is not successful. So if it connection is successful, so on connected to SFS, what we are doing, that we are checking reconnecting false, means when we are connecting that was true but now it is false. Or we are checking scene manager dot get active scene dot name, means what it does, it give us a active scene, it give us that where we are in the login scene, lobby scene, scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. Here you can see that we are performing the login, and after the login, if we are getting the login successfully, so what happens, this calls. So when it calls that whenever you get the login success, means on login, if we are getting the successfully login, so at that time on login to SFS, what we are doing, that let's suppose I am saying that we are in the scene 1, and at that time we are performing the login, and if we perform the login successfully, so at that time on login to SFS, what we are doing, we are checking that reconnecting is false, means at that time we are not connecting, we are just got connected. So at that time we are checking our, if Android or iOS, so at that time we are checking on which scene we are currently running. Okay, so here is for lobby, and here let's suppose we are running here, this is their else part, means system. So this is same for the lobby, but let's suppose I am saying that we are in the scene 1, so let's suppose this is the scene 1. So at that time scene manager get active scene dot name and exe dot scene roulette dot desktop, means if it is scene 1, so here you will put your scene 1, and if it is scene 1, so at that time send SFS request, send SFS join roulette. So at that time what I am doing, that I am requesting a join to this room, and whenever I will request, so I will get the response of all the data related to it, if game is running at that scenario. If it is running, so at that time I will get the response, otherwise I will get something, or we can create one event that will throw back on the lobby. So here you can see I have performed the scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4. So there are multiple games, so at that time you can perform. Okay, so this is the basic concept. Hope you got the understand. This is the little confusing, but you have to listen carefully. This is the concept. If you learn, you will understand. So if you apply, so that the way your application will run. So hope you understand, and this is the going very long way. So thanks for watching. Have a good day. See you in next part. And if you want to provide any suggestion related to tutorial, because whatever I'm sharing, that what I'm feeling, I'm trying to explain you as much as I can. But if you are getting any questions, so just drop in the comment box. And if you want to ask anything or any suggestions, so just drop in the comment box. So bye bye, take care. Thanks.